Very good. Okay.
You're welcome, Ed.
All right. I guess
Shut your phone off.
that concludes our zoning work session.
Cut that, Dan.
All right. Our pleasure. Okay. Now, if everybody's here, let me call to order the planning board meeting of the town of Chelmsford for July 11th, 2018. Fair number of things on the agenda, so I think we'd better get to them. By the way, I presume, yep, we're on the air now. We are being televised, or at least recorded. First order of business, administrative review, 26 Davis Road. Do we have anybody here? Yeah.
Oh, I
Huh?
haven't given you the bucket yet.
Yeah, you got to give us the bucket, and do we have some reading for Tim?
Not for an A&R.
Not for that? Yeah, I wouldn't think
I
so.
go podium.
What's this doing or not doing?
Please state in a minute, state your name and
Yeah.
address.
My name is Will Susi. Address is 14 Sherwood Drive in Methuen.
Okay. Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay, you got
Glasses.
another one?
Thank
How
you.
many you got? You got another one? Okay,
Yeah.
I'll open it up next.
Okay. You got it?
Need one more?
Okay. All right, we have one letter to read. You're on.
Colleen, I do not have any comments for the A&R 653 at 26 Davis Road. Christine Papadopoulos.
All right. Short and to the point. Okay. You're going to tell us a bit about it?
Is it, say, 26 Davis Road now is a big piece, and we're trying to break off a piece so my wife and I can put up a single-family home.
Looks like you got plenty of square footage.
Plenty of frontage.
You got plenty of frontage.
Where's your driveway currently?
There is no driveway there. It's not a...
Where's the
a
driveway
lot.
to the house?
Where's the driveway to the existing house?
Oh, further down Davis, towards the right of the page.
Okay. It's over
or
here somewhere.
east.
Where the break in the wall is?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Oh, I see.
So it does not cross the new lot?
No, it does not. Oh, no.
Okay.
Okay.
Got 181, got 168.
You got plenty, I think it's kind of cut and dry.
Yeah, I think this is a slam dunk.
Motion to endorse the A&R?
Got a motion to endorse?
With our special,
Yeah, with no determination as to
Determination
zoning.
Zoning.
Does that say that? Yep.
Second by Tim. All right, motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Thank you.
That's about the quickest A&R I've seen in some
Yeah,
time.
it's gonna be right on the curve.
It is, but there's no question that
Yeah, I know, no,
Yeah.
I understand.
Thanks. Okay, next one up. Oh, you're already here. 104 Turnpike.
I don't know. It said loading. It's not.
Had it already up there.
T department.
You want me to start your computer?
Mine won't, it won't connect to the internet,
Oh, wonderful.
so I can't, huh? Okay. Yeah, I think it,
You look at mine if you want.
all right, I gotta get to it, so, yeah.
Good evening, everyone.
There we go.
I'm on a battery.
10%.
Are we ready?
We're ready.
All right, thank you. Good evening, everyone. Katie Enright with Howard Stein Hudson here tonight to present a minor modification for 104 Turnpike. The first and most important thing is we are now looking to call it the Kinlock
The Kinlock.
instead of Turnpike Woods. So we've been working on a name and have come up with that. So we'd like to change the name to that for future records. Also, we have worked through some construction drawings. So essentially what we've done is we've hired a new architect to work through the construction details. So there's been some minor changes to the documents related to architecture and some minor revisions related to some grading. It's very, you're not even going to really be able to tell when we're looking at it online. We brought it to Evan. Evan thought it was important that the board see it and approve it in a formal manner. So just to look through it. This is the layout that we've proposed to you today. And if you flash between the two layouts, that's the one you approved previously, and this is the layout we're at now. Really minor changes. All the footprints got a tiny bit smaller to the residential buildings. The garage footprints, though, got a little bit larger. So as you go through the plan, very briefly, we've lost about 5 surface parking spaces. So our ratio's gone from 1.94 to 1.91. So not a very big deal, but again, we required a special permit for parking previously. The garages have gotten a little bit longer to accommodate some ADA space within the garages, and we've lost a couple of parking spaces. The slight variations in building, we had to basically rebuild the plan a little bit, but as you can tell, very consistent with what was previously approved. We've also done some grading modifications. Most of them at the rear here. Essentially, the walkway between buildings 3 and 4 wasn't ADA compliant, and where we had amenities on the other side of the driveway, we worked all of those grades back to make it ADA compliant in that area. And then these are the new elevations for the buildings. So I've given you kind of what was done before. This is what was approved previously. Again, it's going to be hard to kind of tell the differences. This is what's proposed today. Different architect, different program. Materials are, a little bit different, but when you look at the peaks on the roofs, the peaks are a little bit different. But again, very similar in what was previously approved by the board. Again, same thing with the 2-story building. This is the new 2-story building. This is the old 2-story building. Again, very similar. Go back and forth. They're just in different locations on the plan, so it makes it a little bit confusing. You can see there's a few less kind of peaks on the 2-story building in the new plan versus the old plan. Again, very substantially. We loved the architecture before. We wanted to move forward with that. As we're working through construction details, there's been some modifications, and Evan thought it important to bring this before the board today. And that covers it. We gave you a very detailed rundown in the letter that called out every specific little detail. One of them, a little bit of the drainage changed, but again, the impervious surfaces stayed the same, so we might have added a catch basin here, taken one out there, a couple new yard drains. Very simple stuff that we would look to work with the engineering department upon final review before construction to make sure that engineering is all set with all the final details. So with that, I'd like to ask if there's any questions,
Could you
concerns.
flash this one back on? This is the old.
Yep,
That's
this is the new.
Back to the old. Yeah, you've lost a couple of balconies.
Katie, by chance, do you have a list of
Yeah.
architectural changes that have been
Yeah.
made?
No, they're all very little tweaks, and we don't have, I can't tell you exactly which peaks
I
were.
can kind of speak to it.
Yeah.
Dave Guthrie, the applicant, we maintained the number of balconies. We
Okay, I
consolidated
wasn't
some,
counting right.
consolidated some gables in here. This
Yep.
is a double layered gable here. We kept some of the hip here. We moved this one to a shed just to kind of break up the monotony of the gable, running all the way down the line. We kept the stone at the base layer. We kept the siding exposure from 4.5 to back to 7.5. We mixed that up. We added some shingles up here on some of the peaks. There was some other, I think, miscellaneous structures up on the roof that we removed. We kept some panelization in here. We eliminated the venting system that was on the exposed face.
Okay,
To
gotcha.
get into more of a streamlined, modern
Mhm.
HVAC system that allowed us to vent in a little smaller space, a little more consolidated than the big
Yeah, gotcha.
panel there.
Sort of subtly slid it from 1899 to 1911.
A little bit, yeah. We still kept the hoods. We were fond of the hoods, and we felt like the board
Yeah.
may have been fond of the hoods.
Yeah,
There were, I think maybe they were,
yeah.
we kept that standard.
Previously.
Okay, yeah,
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we kept that stuff in
Yeah,
there.
it's very
So a lot
subtle.
of the features that were on there before we liked.
yeah.
We just needed to get rid of some of the undulations in the building a little
Okay,
bit.
that's fine.
This gave us a chance, this architect gave us a chance, we love the old architect, so
Yeah.
let's not say anything negative there. This architect gave us the experience in stacking units over
Yeah.
each other. So if you have an A1 here, or let's just say a two-bed in a certain style here, it's standing over a two-bed certain style right below it, so our plumbing lined up a lot
That
cleaner.
makes it easier.
It just kind of
Yes.
simplified things from a construction standpoint. When we went out originally with the conceptual plans that were approved by this board, some of the construction numbers came back substantially higher than really was feasible. And
Okay,
They had suggested a couple architects, we interviewed them, we picked one, and sort of streamlined the process.
all right, gotcha.
We certainly tried to maintain or enhance most, if not all, the architectural detail that I think the board liked,
Yeah.
While creating some efficiencies.
while creating some construction efficiencies.
Well, I've had my say, so let's hand it around. You want to take a
The
shot?
height, building heights are the same?
Yes.
Thank you. I'm all set.
I'm good.
There's also some shifting of driveways and row shifting at all? Is
Yeah,
it-
very little. So, yeah, the front building had an overhang that went out a little bit further than the previous building, and we wanted to maintain the 50, so that pushed back a little bit. But we're talking a couple feet here and there, nothing substantial. So there's been a little bit of tweaking. Essentially, we rebuilt the same site plan with the new buildings.
And in addition, you're all also seeking a waiver of the fee?
Yes.
Yeah.
Please.
Tim?
I'm good.
Henry?
Landscaping plan staying the same?
So it was changed a little bit just because it was tweaked. I had Lorraine work all the way back through it because the doors changed location,
Yeah.
which means it screwed up all the plants around the buildings. So she rebuilt the plan too around the new doors. And then because the door at the front building that we wanted access out to Turnpike also moved, we split the berm in two. So there's now two berms in the front with the walkway in between them rather than having one long berm and the door at the end.
Gotcha.
So we had her replant the whole thing in the same style as
Will
what
look
she
fine.
did before,
Yeah,
shift
be
them a
better,
little bit,
yeah.
so yeah,
No fewer plantings.
no.
Nan?
I'm looking.
And the lighting and everything stays the same, correct?
Exactly.
Has Christina reviewed the changes in the drainage?
No.
Is there any change in the drainage?
It's really little minor tweaks and,
So I prepared a letter. Basically, I can just read it
Yeah.
if you want. Do you want me to summarize? So I received the plans, and so a technical review of the site design and stormwater design is not complete. This office has no major concerns with the proposed revisions due to the minor nature of the modifications. Please consider making it a condition of approval that the applicant must revise the plans in accordance with the requirements of the engineering division prior to receiving a building/foundation permit.
Okay. Any other commentary? Anybody?
Question.
Go ahead.
Katie?
Yep.
Can you save me some effort and tell me where the pin oaks are?
oh gosh, no. I cannot.
You know the drill.
I have no idea where they are in the plan. And one more thing I'd forgotten to mention, before we had 100 twos and 68 ones, and we've changed the ratio a little bit to 95 twos and 73 ones. So there's actually more ones. So actually, the density is a little bit less than
Yeah.
previously approved too, just due to the stacking and the relayout of the buildings.
All right,
Can I just ask a unrelated
Yeah.
question to planning board? Was the 92 and 71 codified in the regulatory agreement? Did we capture that in the?
5 and 73 in the
No.
regulatory agreement.
Well, it would be on the landscaping plan.
I believe it was, yes.
Okay.
The change
It
was
would be.
made when she and I reviewed that application, yeah. Can confirm that, but pretty sure I sent her the latest and greatest.
All right.
Okay. Because I know it's at DHCD doing final review.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
We'll check with Melissa and
Yeah,
make sure that
I'm
that's correct.
Fairly confident that that was updated.
Okay.
Very good, then, I guess.
Would you like a motion?
Yeah, maybe a motion
Motion for
to,
to approve the modification as presented,
yes, with the
with the
condition
conditions for
and waiving the fee.
Waiving.
and waiving the fee. Got it.
Second.
Got it.
Second.
No, I think Don beat you.
Okay,
Now, you're gonna move one of the pin oaks.
good.
Oh, good.
Mark it up and send it to me and we'll change it in the construction drawing.
All right.
Got it.
All right.
You
We got a
can't put 'em
motion.
over top of parking.
We got a second. All in favor?
Aye. Thank you. very
Opposed? Got it.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, I think that's. We'll meet you out back about the pin oak.
I'm gonna buy you one and have it delivered to
It's got
to
this thing
110.
about Pin oaks in parking areas.
No pin oaks in parking
Can't wait for the
areas.
guy to come in and have palm trees on one of the plans.
Oh, I had a buddy whose dad parked under a big palm tree down in Florida. Yeah.
dented his hood.
Oh, made a total mess. It dented the
tell you right
entire
now.
car, one end to the other, and
Yeah.
took out
There's
the
parking
windshield.
Okay, no pin
I
oaks
saw the
in
picture. It
parking.
was just wild. This little round dents.
BT
Okay.
kids.
Very good. That's 104 Turnpike. Next one up is Cushing Place. Minor mod? You want to take a break?
Yeah, while she gets ready.
Okay. We're gonna take a break. 5-minute break.
Go for it. We're good. I'll tell him to slow down. They're gonna take 5 minutes.
They get ready.
Okay,
Do with this.
we are back in session. You're on, Kitty.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Katie Enright with Howard Stein Hudson. I'm here tonight with the new grist mill project. A few of you, or actually hopefully all of you, were here a couple months ago when we brought this before you preliminarily to get some initial feedback. Since that meeting, we've gone on to do the entire re-engineering of the site. I think you'll find it's very similar to my last project that I was here before you for 104. When I show you the differences in the project, I think you'll see there. Overall, a substantial improvement in following along with the previous approval, with essentially everything to do with the site itself. This is the new building that we brought before you previously. Just to start off the presentation, this is a new picture of the site, which has essentially been engineered since the last time we were here. We have dropped the site. The previous approval was for 70 apartment units at 4 stories with an underground garage, making it a 5th off of Cushing. The new project is the same exact height as the previous approval. So we don't need any additional relief for that or changes in that. It follows right along with the previous approval. The plan also provides all of the same public amenities as the previous approval. So as far as the public interest to the project, we're keeping the same landscaping along the bike path, same number of parking spaces along the bike path for visitors and the public. We're keeping the same amount of spaces for Jack's retail spaces out front. That follows the license agreement that was previously put in place for the 19 spaces closest to his retail units on the bottom. We're also providing a little bit larger of a ratio for parking for the number of units that are here, and also decreasing the impervious square footage from the previous site plan to this one by over 19,000 square feet. So as you can see, there's a significant amount of green space on this project. We've kept the building the same distance from the brook. The brook walk is in the exact same place with a few minor tweaks. I think we're coming in, because we didn't need as much parking for this project, it's connecting to the bike path a little sooner than the previous proposal. But essentially, the flow is the same. The traffic is obviously significantly reduced from what was previously proposed. The traffic flow is exactly the same. The improvements to Cushing as part of the MassWorks grant, exactly the same. Connectivity to the Central Square area is exactly the same. The Pocket Park is exactly the same with the walkway. Very similar to what was previously proposed, and the landscaping has been substantially increased due to the amount of green space on this plan. So I think you'll find that based on the minor changes, so minor revisions to the site plan, based on the minor modification requirements, I think you'll find that the project significantly remains consistent with the town's bylaws. It's also, we don't believe it's contrary to the public interest. We feel all of the things that were of substantial interest previously have remained essentially the same. The amenities package is the same. We are looking to move forward with the same commitment we made to the inclusionary housing fee at the last approval for the 70 units. When we were given the approval for a $360,000 inclusionary housing payment, we are not going back on that. We are keeping that as the contribution for this project. Obviously, the 53G money will go down a little bit based on the number of parking spaces here. There's still the $10,000 fee related to police, related to the improvements in Central Square. It's very much substantially similar to what was previously proposed. So I think you'll find as we move through the plan, it's just gotten so much more open and green, more walkable. The grading is essentially the same. The drainage is essentially the same. We're substantially decreasing over existing conditions the amount of impervious on this site. We're 20,000, almost 20,000 less than the previously approved plan, which was less than the existing condition out there. So obviously we're substantially improving the site. There's a significant amount of landscaping. The lighting fixtures stayed exactly the same, and the lighting's been adjusted to the new layout. This is the new building. The new building we talked a little bit about previously. It is different than the previously proposed building, but it has a lot of very similar elements. I think when you talk about the style of the building, So the building itself still has what we had first approved for Grist Mill, which was a sloped roof. We ended up with a mansard roof. This accomplishes a sloped roof without the mansard roof and fits within the height requirements that we were previously approved. So where the mansard roof elevation before, the roof grade would have been from the deck of the mansard roof to the ground. Here it's actually to the mean, so the building itself will feel shorter. The windows on the building are 4/1 and double hung. You'll see there's some horizontal siding elements here. There's some cedar-like shingles on this building. There's architectural shingles on the roof. And there's some stone at the front entrance and also at the garage entrance. So a lot of very similar features to the previous approved building. It's also changed slightly in color, as you can see from this. It's a lot of earth tones. This is a project that Jay and Eric, who were introduced to you previously with Stonegate Construction, was previously approved in both Portsmouth and Stoneham. So this is a building they're very familiar with, which is why the value is there. They've built this building many times at this rate, so we are able to make the construction numbers work out here. So this is the building. You can see it's a lot more earth tones. It'll blend in with the natural environment that'll surround the building and also the brook to the rear of the building. All units here are 2 bedrooms. Some of them have a study, some of them do not. And I believe that's it. So we're really trying to keep it
We do have letters.
I think there's,
Very good.
as minor as possible. So we do have the whole team here tonight. If you have any questions, I know you recognize Adam Winstanley and Barbara Green, who were here quite a bit in the previous 2 approvals for the project, Eric Cates and Jay Fittingham, who were here a month or so ago when we introduced you to the project in a preliminary fashion. So
Thank you.
let us know if there's anything we can answer.
All right, why don't we get the letters read, and then we'll pass it around for questions.
Community Development Director, no concerns, but then note modification is defined in section 410 of the Planning Board Rules and Regulations. Fire prevention, no concerns. And then Christina Papadopoulos, dear members, this office has received the site plans by Howard Stein Hudson Associates, consisting of 12 sheets dated August 16, 2016, revised through July 11, 2018. Cover letter dated July 5, 2018, revised July 11, 2018. Supplemental data report dated November 2, 2016, revised July 11, 2018, and architectural floor plans dated July 3, 2018. A technical review of the site design and stormwater design is not complete. This office has no major concerns with the proposed revisions due to the minor nature of the modifications. Please consider making it a condition of approval that the applicant must revise the plans in accordance with the requirements of the engineering division prior to receiving a building foundation permit. If you have any questions, please contact this office. Christina Papadopoulos.
Thank you. Okay. I guess we'll go around and ask questions. Henry, you want to take a shot?
Yeah. This may be more of a question for you, Evan. My computer went dead, so I can't look up. I know there's a total different, for the inclusionary housing, there's a different method for what is it and how much of relief are they looking for?
I haven't seen those numbers, but I believe it's the new calculation for ownership. I think it was maybe 1.1.
I can tell you, the previous approval would have been 1.1. This is 1 million exactly. I had calculated it and have it here with me. So it's essentially the same ratio. We're actually seeking less relief than we previously were, because at $125,000 a for sale unit versus what it was for the previous rental unit essentially equaled each other out. So the relief is essentially the same.
Okay. That's my only thing.
Glenn?
I'm good.
Don?
The 2 bedrooms, Katie, there is a den in some of those 2 bedrooms, right?
Correct.
Yeah, yeah. And Mike, are we actually gonna be discussing whether this is minor or major, or is Is that
Well, I
not a
mean,
consideration?
now's the time for us to do it. I mean, the case has been made for minor. We'll have to decide if there's serious concern about that.
And are we also going to be talking about the inclusionary?
Well, I think we just started
So
that.
we-
Start the conversation, we gotta have a
Okay.
discussion about it and go around, yeah.
Okay, all right, great. Then I'll address both of those points. In my opinion, this is a minor modification to the permit for a number of different reasons. Anytime a developer is going to bring a project to us and they're looking to downsize or decrease the number of units, obviously, I mean, that's got to be consistent with our thinking as being a minor. I do want to acknowledge Mr. Winstanley's creativity in the sense that at one time this project was approved at 54, then he came back because it was not economically feasible and requested 70. Now we've done an additional pivot, and I think this is very creative, and I think it's actually a better approach for Chelmsford. So basically now you're downsizing, going to 32, and you're actually introducing home ownership, which in the center of town, and for this particular area, and our efforts, what Chelmsford's looking to do, home ownership is ideal. So I do want to acknowledge Mr. Winstanley's creativity, and certainly if you think of the economic development or the development team on this project, the introduction of Mr. Finnegan, a known personality in Chelmsford for over 40 years, you know he does excellent work. So I do consider this to be a minor modification. Now, as far as the inclusionary goes, there's $360,000 on the table. And Henry asked a question, Katie answered it. It's not much of a difference. We did approve, the planning board did approve it at $360,000 at one time. I'm okay with $360,000 for this particular project as well.
Okay, gotcha. All right, Nan?
Yeah, I do have a concern. When we reviewed the initial project, one of the significant concerns that we had was compatibility with the surrounding historic district. And one of the significant changes that was made in the original plan in order to adapt architecturally to the historic district was the mansard roofs. And I'm seeing that that feature that was critical to the initial approval has been dropped, and that we now have a very high modern building presented to us that has no ties to the past and the architecture of the area. So I have a concern about that.
Understood.
And who have I missed? Tim?
I agree with Don. I like this project. I think it fits much better, and I actually like the design. And I'm also fine with the money too. So I'm good.
Ed?
I asked you before, I think. Can you point out, can you flip to the footprints? I'm curious, where is this building coming in versus the other one?
The left.
You're saying it's smaller. Where are you bringing it in? I thought you said this was
It's
less square footage and it was a
Yes.
smaller building.
Yes, it was significantly longer previously. So I
So-
can actually, let me go all the way to the end. That was the building before.
Okay, so, all right.
Yeah, and the green space increases up at that left end.
And this is the building
That's the
now.
building now, okay.
So you can see it's
Can
substantially
you flip
shorter.
it again one more time?
Yeah, and put it all the way at the end.
So it's not as long, but a little bit wider.
A little bit wider.
Yeah, okay.
Connecting to
Do you
the
have the
pathway.
architectural drawings for the original approval?
I just have this rendering.
Okay, so that was the,
That was the 70-unit building on the left.
and that was the mansard roofs.
And so in this, just to talk
That
a little
matched the
bit,
central house a little more.
this building here that was previously approved at 70, the building height was approved to here. In the new building, the building is the mean roof. So this was the height previously approved, right there on the 4-story building. That's the same height as here now. So the mansard roof, the definition of building height.
So what you're
actually-
saying is that the actual peak of the roof is now lower than it was on the original approval?
Correct.
By how much?
I didn't do that math because it's not the definition.
I
And so
understand that.
we were going by the definition, so.
I understand
Mhm.
that we're talking regulation versus
Mhm.
visual impact.
So the floor to ceiling height is a little bit less than the previously approved plan.
How high are your ceilings in this building?
In this plan,
There was 8 feet on 3 floors and 9 feet on the top floor.
So they are.
they're shorter.
Mhm.
Um,
And the overall scale of the building too, due to the length differential from previously. So instead of seeing 4 stories over the length that was previously approved with the mansard roof, you're seeing it a lot shorter because the building actually got wider and significantly shorter than the previous approval.
Okay, so tell me again, what are you proposing for the payment for the inclusionary housing?
$360,000,
It's the same as before.
Same as before?
which was the
Okay.
approval, which we went up by $80,000 at
Yeah.
the 70 approval.
I just wanted to hear
Mhm.
the number.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Any more questions on this round? I guess I'll make my comments. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, just a comment. Given the concerns that we had with the original application, I think we should get some feedback from Historical Commission on this, in terms of architectural.
I'm not again it. My observation at looking at the buildings is I don't see them terribly far apart in perceived time. The new version is a bit more 20s-ish. The previous version is a bit more, aught 6-ish. But that's not a very big difference in the history of architecture. So it doesn't bother me. I don't know, what do others feel?
That would beat this thing to death already. I think
Yeah.
It's gone
Yeah.
on quite long enough. Let's get it built.
Okay, any more comments before I go fishing for a motion?
Just one question.
Yes.
On the architecture, the white portion of the building, the lower 3 floors, what is that material? It's not, like,
It's a certainty
Okay.
street vinyl.
Okay, yeah, I know this stuff.
yeah, that's not readable from here. It looks flat. Okay. Thank you.
Did you say it was shingles?
On the 4th floor, those would be cedar impressions. On the
Yeah.
first 3 floors, it's just.
Well, I mean, it's
Plastic.
clapboard.
Plastic.
That's what
Clapboard impression.
sorry. It's
It's
clapboard.
Yeah.
plastic.
That's
Okay.
It's all vinyl.
So it kind of reminds you of a couple of big boxy things I've seen down in Marblehead,
Yeah, it looks like Cambridge.
or maybe Cambridge. Well, yeah. Anyway, that all said,
You want a motion?
any more commentary? I want to give everybody a chance to say their bit. All right.
Well, I think I do want to say I agree with Mike as far as the architectural goes.
Yeah.
This is a handsome-looking building.
Yeah.
And I think it will, given where it's sited in the center, I think it's not so offensive to the historic nature of our town.
Give you a motion to approve the minor modification as presented,
Subject to,
subject to the
All previous
all
conditions.
previous conditions.
and there was an additional condition she
And a
wanted to
thing
get through.
for Christina.
Okay.
And the thing for Christie.
All right. I got a
Technical
second over here
Handle
with
that, will
Tim.
ya?
Yeah, I'll second it.
Well, Tim
Oh,
got
he
you
seconded
first. Tim got there first. Okay. Are we ready?
Ready?
In favor? Aye. Opposed? 1. Okay, it's 6-1. You got it?
Thank you very much.
No pin oaks here, right?
No pinups.
You're gonna get one for Christmas.
Katie? Katie?
Yes.
Some of the board members have been expressing concerns about getting last-minute changes.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're gonna try to start
Regarding this, or?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
We didn't get it.
Yes, they're
We got it
dated
just now.
today.
Oh, because I had it, okay, I shouldn't have, I should have gathered two spaces today. Just like the, just like the. To make sure he was
All right, we're-
I apologize.
It's been happening more and more frequently. We're gonna start, it's
Yeah.
gonna be more and more painful every time.
Yeah.
As in, if they don't get distributed beforehand.
You might pretend they
They
don't
may
exist.
very well be postponed till the next meeting.
Okay, I've been warned, thank you.
Thank you. All right. Next one up, we have a continued public hearing, 14 Alpha Road, not 201809.
Yeah, I wouldn't want that. It would just ridiculous. So you try and find.
Have at it.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the board. For the record, my name is Brian Melissi with Whitman and Bingham Associates, here representing JJPMB Realty LLC. With me today is Bernie Gillette of JJPMB Realty LLC Realty and Red Mill Graphics. And so we were here at your last meeting, presented a site plan for a standalone garage, and I believe most of the members were here. I can reiterate what we talked about. However, to bring everybody up to speed real quick, we were requested to do a landscape plan, which we did, and get that submitted. And there was also some comments from the fire prevention people. I had gone down and talked to Captain Kasufis about those. There were basically two conditions or two issues that he raised. I'm going to take them out of order, but one of them was the possibility for the need of a fire a sprinkler system. And he did, in his comment, his original comment letter, he did say that that would be looked at the building permit stage.
Okay.
And he kind of reiterated that. Again, I'm not the fire prevention guy, but the building itself, the size of the building doesn't require a sprinkler, but he had brought up the fact that maybe what is stored in the building and how it's stored may require one, but that's a building permit stage
Okay.
issue. The other issue he brought up, and I remember that the board may remember, we have asked that we're going to keep the gravel surface out around the building.
Yeah.
If anybody has been up to the site, we had mentioned this the night of the hearing, it's really the pavement millings, or it's compacted very well. I talked to Mr. Kasufis, and I had said that when the construction starts, when they're up there doing some compaction testing for the foundation, which is required, we can do a bearing test or do some compaction testing on that material and show him that it probably is just as good as pavement. At that point, if it's not good enough, we'll either fortify it or come up with another option.
Okay.
Now, I hate putting words in people's mouths. I really do not do that. He had said that he was going to maybe write a letter for tonight, but actually talking to Colleen, I'm not exactly sure that letter has made it to the board.
Okay.
It did not, was not in my email, although he did talk with Evan, so I can speak to what they talked about.
I think we can go with that.
That's
If that's what he said?
It's an accurate description.
Okay, good. I don't think we need to
And we'll
dig too
get the
deeply.
letter for the.
Sure, yeah, just get it in the file. Good.
I believe, and again, not stepping on anybody's toes, but I believe there was the board had asked for a draft decision, and I believe a draft decision hopefully was issued to members of the board.
Can we just clarify the new dates of the site plans?
So the
Current decision has it May 18th, but I know there's an updated.
No, so the only, what I did was, is because we didn't revise the entire site plan because we weren't sure about the whole gravel
You added a
pavement
landscape
issue.
plan?
The landscape plan is actually dated July 9th, and so we just added the one landscape plan.
Yeah.
But
And what
the
else?
actual, the date of the original plan stays.
Was there another plan submitted?
No.
Okay, just a landscape plan?
Yep.
Okay.
And so I do know from Christina's letter, there's a couple issues that we need to talk about, but typically is done, as a follow-up to the approval.
Okay.
I just got one thing.
So I'm trying to find this landscape
I,
plan.
you don't have it.
That's why I couldn't find it.
That explains a lot.
Colleen.
I couldn't
Why
find
don't we
it.
have it?
Again, okay, it came in yesterday, it's on my thumb drive. It's a landscape plan that I can pull up and put on the screen.
We,
In that case,
I
I'd
don't know
like
if
to
you heard the last
postpone
speech that we
this
just
to
took and
next-
gave to the last one?
Next meeting.
You have a copy of it?
Next time, you'll be sitting 2 weeks out.
Yeah.
What's this? Landscape?
The landscape.
Oh, okay.
Lighting and landscape.
I'm putting it up, but
Okay, so you've,
Before I talk,
Yeah.
excuse me, Mr. Chair, but before I go to the actual landscaping, I believe one of the members brought up a lighting. We had incorporated both the lighting and the landscaping. And the lighting is proposed to be wall-pack lighting, which is the same fixture that was utilized on the previous edition back in 2010. And so we included those. They are located at every man door, which would be required by building code anyways. What
Do
we
you have a
did.
K rating on them?
We do. It's all downlighted, and we put a note on there that it'll meet all the Chelmsford bylaw. We did provide some cut sheets, and it meets the bylaw to the T. It's actually, it's less than that 4,000 KV, or whatever the term is. The landscape plan includes a couple of shade trees along with some shrub plantings along the edge of the building that would be facing Stewart Ave, as you can see. We kind of shaded in the areas for some loam and seed, exactly what we talked about prior to. There is a small proposed tree line on there that we're going to try to keep some of those trees along the property line with Cups LP over there. And that's the gist of the landscape plan. We're going to try to just pretty up that front area that would be facing Stewart Road. Again, hopefully some of the members have been by. It's probably one of the nicer landscape buildings out there on Alpha Drive.
Yeah.
Save, of course,
Sad, but
of
true.
course, the DPW building, which we know is excellent. But they really do take a lot of pride in the front of the building, and it looks real nice.
thank you. Okay, any questions from the board?
Nothing.
Nothing.
I had asked for the tree.
And I thank you for the
Thank you,
trees,
thank you very much for the trees, landscaping.
he does.
It looks a lot better than what's going on in nearby areas up there, sort of across the street.
Yeah.
That's, the other comment I'd make is, I went up your gravel driveway and I scratched at it with my cane, so it's pretty compacted, but
I can see that.
Do we have a compact rating on that cane?
Was that the nuclear test, or was that?
yeah, this is a special cane. But what I don't see is, on your door that's facing, I'm gonna say west, I couldn't find any driveway there or anything. Is there anything that exists there at all, or are you gonna build something for that one? This one over here, Brian. This driveway over here.
No, we're going to build that.
You're gonna build it, and you're
Right.
gonna compact the gravel?
Oh,
and everything?
absolutely, yep.
All right,
Okay, all right.
you'll be,
Matter of fact, one of Christina's comments would be some slope granite curbing at the edging on the actual egress points.
Yeah, you're getting,
And
you're
It's on the
already,
plan, that you haven't seen the full-blown site plans, but on this plan, we decided to make some of those adjustments.
yeah, you're already starting to show it, I can
Exactly.
see it.
Yep.
Okay, so it passed the cane test.
very good.
Would you like a motion?
Would anybody like to say something first?
I would.
Okay.
Landscape plan. Who did your landscape plan?
I did.
Nice choice of plants.
Oh,
Not bad. Not bad for a civil engineer.
Very nice.
Put in some pin oaks.
No, they're
Coconut
placed,
palms would be good.
they're placed in appropriate places. They are interesting plants. They should survive here.
and I didn't put them over the water service, you'll be happy to know that
You
as
didn't put them
well.
over the water service, and you didn't plant pin oaks.
Okay. There you have the seal of approval from our landscaping authority. Anybody else?
Yeah, one final one.
Yeah.
Under special conditions,
Yep.
I didn't get a chance to get back to Evan today. Evan, can you type in my favorite, all chemicals are supposed to be stored inside,
Okay.
chemicals and oils.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. Everybody in agreement with that?
Yep.
Yeah, we gonna have a dumpster here? I'm still on questions.
They may already have one on site.
Got them there,
There you
right?
go.
I don't see it on this plan. We got a dumpster up there?
Not up top, no.
Okay,
the
you're probably
building
gonna
down
need
below.
one.
The building down below they
It's
have
all
it.
one property.
Going down below.
No, it's all one property.
Yeah, okay, fine.
What's that?
If you need one, make sure
It's all, right, it's all, again, from the original hearing that we had, it's mostly gonna be finished goods up there. They're gonna be wrapped kind of for delivery and staging, so they're not gonna be unwrapped.
I hear you, but things tend to drift in an industrial plant. Was there for 35 years.
Point taken.
If you need a dumpster, make sure you meet all the rules.
Yeah, yeah,
Screen it,
exactly.
screen it.
Screen it.
Very good. Okay, that said,
I'll give you a motion to approve planning board number
close the hearing.
2018
Close the hearing.
oh, gotta close the hearing first.
Public hearing first, sorry about that.
Do we have any comments from the public?
That's a good point. Was this actually a public hearing?
I forgot, I thought we closed it the
Well, in
last
that
time.
case, before we close it,
Yeah.
I thought we did too. Are you sure we didn't close last
I
time?
don't, I'm not,
You did not.
Okay, in that case, is there anybody from the public who would like to comment on this plan?
All right.
Anybody?
I have a question.
Your last chance.
Fine.
I will take a motion.
I have
Close the
a
public hearing.
I have a public question.
Oh, sorry,
Brian,
Christine.
are you gonna provide any internal foot traffic, between, or
That was
access between
On your
the
letter,
two
they
at
said
all?
that we're gonna discuss that, so I think what we'll do is,
That be-
we'll walk
Oh,
down to
just
your
because of
office.
grading, I didn't know if that was something you
We're
wanted.
gonna walk down to your office this time, and we'll discuss, there were 2 or 3 items on that that said we could discuss.
So, yeah,
And so we'll
okay.
talk about that, and
All
if
right.
that's something that,
I just think it would be a good idea.
kinda comes in. Yep.
Okay, gotcha.
Motion to close the public hearing.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? 7-0.
Motion to approve planning board number 2018-09 site plan and special permits.
Second.
Can we do them all in one shot? Okay. We have a motion, we have a second. Any final commentary? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? 7-0. And we didn't even, okay, then, Evan, you'll make that one addition to the draft plan. I'll, sign it next time I roll through town or at our next meeting, but I believe you're good to go.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Clean footprint, this should be easy.
I don't know, I'm thinking Brian may have another career here as a landscape architect. huh? No.
No, they don't.
You know that Chelmsford's good for about 40 years.
We use them somewhere else, and people seem to like them.
Oh, they're gorgeous trees,
Yeah.
but they're a softwood.
Yeah,
good
they're
for
about a
40
40-year
years.
tree.
We'll be out of there in 40 minutes.
That's what I
We're
figured.
gonna find out, I think.
40 years,
Okay.
you still be around?
Yeah.
I'm not.
All right,
First time here.
okay. Oh, we still have
Clear footprint.
clear footprint. Okay,
Susceptible to-
that's a commercial solar facility. Now, is this our first hearing on this?
We opened it and continued
Softwood
without
and
testimony.
Okay, very good. So, but this is in fact,
We're public.
we're in public hearing at this point.
Correct.
Okay,
My name is Dick Donadictus. I'm the engineer working with Bob Cummings, who's the primary engineer on the project, for clean footprint. And that's, you know, cards to-
Sure.
I brought this old drawing just to show a comparison of what's been done since. This was originally what was proposed, and we were in here with the planning board about 2 months ago. We did a little preliminary thing, it wasn't a hearing. And then since that time, we went to the Conservation Commission and got a conditional approval, subject to a couple of items that we're dealing with, primarily with DEP. But this was the original drawing, and since that time, it was determined that there's a 50-foot easement in here. And that kind of throws off the whole layout. The legal team for Clean Footprint claims that it no longer exists, but rather than deal with that, they basically reduced the footprint to eliminate the
Yeah, the potential, yeah.
impact into the easement. And that was sent, I believe, to
To me,
Stansfield?
yep. That's also on your
Basically
agenda.
this, I didn't get a chance to blow it up. but basically it's.
Just trims the edge, yeah.
We're out of it. I think you might all have copies of this. So that was the primary issue, and they chose to avoid it, rather than try to figure out the legal status of the easement at this point. The other issue before the Conservation Commission that we're dealing with has to do with compensatory floodplain storage. We're in a floodplain here, and we did something to provide compensatory storage. The DEP wants us to do something else, and we're dealing with them directly.
Would that be on a different site or on this
They
site?
talked about either a different site or doing something that, if we can find a way to keep it on the site, we'll do that.
Mhm.
But the talk, Bob Cummings is handling that directly with the person from DEP. And so whatever it takes to do it, we'll be doing that, and we'll be presenting that to Kate at the Conservation
Okay.
Agent. And she'll make a determination on that, I believe. You were involved, I think, in that preliminary. So those are the two issues that we're dealing with. And of course, there is a third issue, which all solar sites are dealing with. I was at a hearing out in Russell, Mass. last night, for GE Solar, and they have the same issue. It's the SMART program, and if you don't get in the key, in line, by a certain date, you don't get, to do your project. So, out there were, in addition to our, project with GE Solar, there was another project, and the planning board gave conditional approvals for both to allow them to go forward.
Mhm.
There's other things, that particular project that I was dealing with was on a landfill, so we have to deal with DEP on that,
Right.
on the post-closure use. But anyway, so obviously that's what we're asking for here. We know we have, one issue, well, one primary issue, but we believe we solved the major one with the easement.
Yep.
So, just open it up to questions.
Okay. I think for a change, I'm going to start the questions.
Okay.
Wow. That hardly ever happens.
Hmm.
First of all, the properties around it, what's the nature of, I mean, are there any residents anywhere near this?
Well, the primary property, there's a school behind it.
There's a school, the school's behind there,
Yeah, you're right.
and that's, but
As far
that's
as
it.
the residences,
And anything,
it's kind of an industrial area.
By Scotty Hollow.
yeah, it's up by,
Little school area.
No building.
No, this is
Lighthouse School.
lighthouse, oh, it's the lighthouse, okay, it's around the lighthouse. Okay, understood.
lighthouse is up that way.
Yeah. Okay, I'm just curious, are you familiar with the technical details of the solar setup itself?
Scotty Hollow.
No, but I believe they've submitted.
Williamsburg.
Yeah,
the
that's what I
footprints
was
that Bob
thinking of.
Cummings have submitted.
Yeah, the lighthouse is over here.
I think we might have had it on the.
Isn't
old-
it?
This,
over here.
no, that's the river.
Yeah,
This is roots.
All right. Well, it's not, perhaps not completely germane to this conversation. I was just wondering, was it,
Right.
how many inverters are involved here? Is it one per panel, or is it by sections of panel?
It's a good question. Well, it might show on the, actual-
So I have to go fight electrical noise. I need to know what I'm dealing with. It looks like you've got kind of little building or something to the left and right, yeah. Okay,
There's also a couple of things shown here, which is drainage wicks. that have to
Okay.
do with the drainage. Actually, it's like leaching bits down to.
okay,
down to the
understood, understood. Very good, all right, having said my bit, Ed, huh?
You got all the letters too. to read.
Oh, we have letters on there?
Yeah, you guys didn't read any.
Fire away. Okay, everybody sit back.
I'll get rid of the easy ones
Come back
first.
to me later.
I can
Board
do a
of
couple if you
Health,
need them.
No comments. Police Department, no comments. Building, no comments. Community Development, no concerns. Dear members, this office has reviewed the site plans by Engineering and Management Services consisting of 3 sheets dated March 14, 2018, and a proposal dated May 22nd, 2018. As a result of this review, this office has the following comments. This office has concerns with the 50-foot easement shown on the plan along the western property line. It is unclear whether or not the applicant can place the solar panels within the easement. This office has contacted the design engineer and is awaiting for more information. The solar farm is proposed within a floodplain. The Mass Department of Environmental Protection has reviewed this application per standard procedure and has concerns with the proposed compensatory flood storage. This office requires resolution with these two items before proceeding with a review. If you have any questions, please contact this office, Christina Papadopoulos. This is from Fire Prevention. Dear members of the boards, in regards to the proposed solar field at 100 Watton Street, this office finds the following. Access for firefighting apparatus and emergency vehicles shown on this plan is adequate. All fire lanes shall be marked with approved pavement markings and/or approved signage. Fire apparatus access shall be designed by a registered engineer to withstand the weight of the fire apparatus. Snow storage shall not obstruct or impede fire access, roads, or turnaround. The applicant shall develop a plan to maintain landscaping around the array so that the landscaping and brush does not pose a hazard in the event of a brush fire. The existing lack of landscaping control and current accumulation of brush, lumber, and assorted combustibles on this property presents a hazard to this installation and the construction thereof. Such conditions shall be remedied and removed prior to the start of construction. All currently installed fire protection equipment for 100 Watton Street, including the fire department connections and fire hydrants, shall maintain free and clear of all obstructions during construction. Upon completion of construction, the developer shall maintain a Knox lock or Knox box access system to facilitate emergency access to the site by the fire department. Also, upon completion, the developer shall provide training to the members of the Chelmsford Fire Department in regards to facility operations and emergency response. Please coordinate with the Fire Prevention Office for scheduling of any and all training sessions. The applicant must submit an application to the Town of Chelmsford E911 Committee for an address through its coordinator, Town Clerk Tricia DeZuris. This office would approve of the plan with these conditions, and I ask the board to make this letter part of the approval process. Respectfully submitted, Daniel J. Katsufis.
Very good. Is that it?
Yep.
Okay, before we get going, Christina, do you have enough information that we could, at this point, do a conditional approval and you'd be satisfied from the engineering point of view?
I believe so. It is just the major problem, issue right now holding up is the DEP.
Okay.
With the floodplain,
All right.
mandatory storage.
So we could approve subject to that, Evan, I guess that would
I
be
believe
a
that
problem.
would suffice.
Okay, let's take it around.
Yeah, question for Christina. Could you explain about the compensatory flood storage? Because I don't understand how these structures impede flood storage.
No, I think you should handle that one. I'm sorry.
Yeah, what it is, it's a very strange situation because the compensatory flood storage has been done a certain way for many, many years. When you have a site that is going to use flood storage, for some reason, you usually excavate part of that site. And we basically propose that on the lowest end. The flood storage, the floodplain is at elevation 102, and we're basically, I think it's 95 to 98 across the site.
Mm-hmm. Which means that you could get flooded in a,
Well, so in order to
100-year
do
flood.
compensatory storage, you have to calculate how much you're losing, and it's best to show you here. The only thing you're really losing, these pilings
yeah?
have a certain footprint there. So the calculation that was done was to take that area and take it up to the edge of the solar panel, which is by design above the floodplain.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you took a column and you calculated that cubic feet, and then you multiplied it times
the number
there's
of.
like 331 of those pilings. They're at different elevations, so
Yeah.
some of them, so you take that, it came out to, I think it was 10 cubic yards, and we reduced the 10 cubic yards on site. That's normally how we've done it for the last 40 years that I've been, in 25 years that I've been an engineer. Somehow DEP's come up with some kind of a formula where they say they want you to provide the compensatory storage where you're reducing it. Now picture that. That would be a hole around the piling. I mean, if you.
Yeah.
literally.
Yeah,
I'm glad you're explaining this.
Yeah. So when we were at the Conservation Commission, two of the members of the Conservation Commission looked at our engineering report and understood what was going on here and found that to be, I think, a little bit profound.
Exactly.
Now, when we went to Conservation, the chairperson said, did you see this notice from DEP today? And I said, well, it's a 3-hour ride from where I live down by the Cape. I said, no, I was on the road all day. It turns out it was not an email. It was, you had to go to their website to find this notice. And then you had to figure out who did it. So Bob Cummings spent about a week tracking down the individual who actually wrote that. And there was talk about, and this really blew our minds. They said, well, you can take another property on the Merrimack River and provide compensatory storage. Well, if you could do that, why can't you do it on your own site? On the Merrimack River? So there isn't any technical reason. I don't know. Am I?
You
saying
got,
that?
I think you got it.
There's no technical reason we can figure out of why you would put it on another site down the Merrimack River.
But you can't do
Or why
it
we can't do what we said.
someplace else.
Yeah, and so they're still working. I talked to Bob today, and he and the fellow at DEP are still working out what's the best way to do it. You know, if they want us to do it on another site, we'll try to do that, but how do you get control of somebody else's site, you know? That doesn't make any sense. And you certainly can't do it at the spots where you're losing it. That makes no sense at all. So, having said all that, that's the only thing that's hanging there, only because
Okay.
it's really tough
Well,
to
as I say,
figure it out.
for 10 cubic yards,
Why?
I will quote a little law Latin, de minimis non curat lex. So, that said, and the fact you're pitching to a bunch of engineers and contractors who appreciate the absurdity of the problem.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Uh,
Good.
What is
So-
the
I
rectangular
wish you
thing?
could quote the DEP.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
really. What's the
Never quite
rectangular
trusted those
thing in the middle?
environmental engineering ones.
What am I looking at?
Building.
Oh, there's a building there?
Are you talking about this? Oh, this here?
Yeah, that
Yeah,
there.
that's the mill.
Oh,
That's the old
okay.
wooden.
Yeah. This is up behind the
Oh.
mill.
It's still, it's still active.
Yeah, they do stuff in
Doesn't
there.
look like it's active, but
Hmm.
it's
Yeah,
active.
I don't know how.
You've got the softball fields to the right.
Yep.
Yeah, all right.
No, that's an ideal place for that kind of project.
Yeah,
I-
it is.
Until it
This
floods.
is all.
Yeah, I was gonna
Well,
say,
even till
it's-
it floods, I mean,
Until the mill
Well,
burns
even
down.
if it
it
floods,
ain't, it ain't
so
gonna
what?
hurt the solar panels.
Okay.
I've
These
never
things are
really
made
seen
to
that
be out
flood
in the
down
weather,
there.
so what?
Yeah.
Well,
I
the
have
issue,
seen South
the
Wells.
conservation agent.
Yeah, but like twice. You know what I
Worried
mean? In
about
50 years.
oil's consistency.
Yeah.
With the flood, would it wash away? Now, of course, that's more of a problem for the owner than it is, but, so she asked us to do some borings, and we did, I think we did 8 borings.
And it's mud all the way down?
No, we had 3 or 4 feet of subsoil that was, you know, kind of okay, but then we had really good material down below that. And
Oh,
they're
that's
gonna put
surprising.
their pilings down about 10
Yeah.
feet.
Okay.
So we felt that that was no longer an issue.
Okay.
Again, I think Kate got okay with it, the last I heard anyways, I haven't talked to her since. So I think
It
that's.
used to be
issues
Fall
out of
Hart
the way.
squash field down there
Yeah.
back in the 60s and 70s.
Well, squash, huh?
Squash. There was squash and cabbage
I'll be darned. Okay.
On the site.
on that
Yeah.
site, yeah.
That's one, I mean, it is.
Pulled many a
it's
weeds
wide
there.
open. There's really very few, very
It's the new style.
Yeah, right.
to deal with. So it's a good site for that.
Good. It's out of the way.
Okay. All right.
It's out of the way.
All right, back to
Comment?
business here. Are we fencing this thing? Is there a fence shown on the plan? Is this all fenced according to our
We're
regulations?
showing a fence, yeah, this little crosshatch.
Okay, along the river all the way around,
Right, all the way, here it is.
all the way around. Okay. You're presenting this plan to us tonight.
Oh, no,
But-
this is the old plan.
That's the original.
That's
We've
not
got-
the-
we've had-
Okay, well, you should show us the new one that we're gonna vote on.
We had it up.
Okay.
We had it up there on the small.
All
sheet.
right, what,
Colleen has a new plan.
just let me,
If I could, I'll show it to you.
I got it on my computer.
Oh, okay, good.
I got it on my computer. I'm trying to get to a point.
Go ahead.
The easement is super important. What that easement, I believe, without reading it, that's the back way into Williamsburg. To the left of that, yeah, the school is down the ways a little bit, but you've got the Williamsburg condo development. And that is to provide a secondary access in case that
In case the track's blocked.
the track is blocked at their main exit.
Ah,
So that right-of-way, and the only way I would vote for this plan is if you maintain that, if you maintain an opening there for them for a right-of-way. It's never happened in 40 years, probably will never happen in the next 40.
Not just an emergency gate, you want it open.
Yeah, it's gotta be open.
Your new plan does no
Basically
work
pull the
within that
fence in.
easement.
Right, you
right?
move the fence over.
There won't be
50
any
feet.
Yeah,
fence,
that-
any panels
Fine.
or any fence in the easement.
So it's a matter, and I don't think we're blocking it.
Right,
No.
you're doing
I
nothing in the
No.
easement.
I don't want you to block it, don't want you to,
Yeah, and that could be a condition.
Yeah, we can,
Yeah.
I think we probably.
it has
do
to
that.
be open, it has to be open for Williamsburg,
Okay.
because
that's their fire protection.
Yeah, that's their
It's-
backup.
That's
I
their
sold a
backup.
number, when I was in Realty, I sold a number of units in there, and I understood that was important to the association. If you got any questions, contact the Williamsburg Association, Williamsburg 1. But that's important to them. That's a point I wanted to make so the board understood it.
Okay. Got some more?
No, I got no more good ones.
Would you like some sort of a motion to?
Well, actually, we got a couple of things. I have to let our massive public speak. And I want to make sure that, has everybody else had a chance to say what they want to say?
I'm good.
I'm good. You
I'm good.
Okay, would anybody from the public, like to address the board?
Crickets.
Crickets. One more time, anybody from the public? Okay, then in that case,
I'll give you a motion to approve.
Close the hearing.
Motion to close the public hearing.
I have a motion and second to close the public hearing. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Done.
Motion to approve Planning Board 2018-08.
Revised plans.
Revised
Revised
Okay,
plan
plan.
with,
the stipulation
if we have the fire,
of the fire road and what was the other
we've
one?
got the
Fire
fire
department.
department's
Just don't say
concerns.
the letters. I mean,
Yeah.
And the
letters.
resolution of the flood storage.
Yeah.
Yes,
Letters.
What she said.
Yeah, the letters.
Letters.
Second.
I'll write
Yeah.
it pretty.
All right.
okay, good, but that will get you conditional approval. All right, we have a motion. We
Second.
have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 7-0. Okay, you got it. Sure. How much power is this gonna generate, by the way? What's its peak?
Nah,
I knew that at the previous hearing, I don't remember what it was.
I'm just curious.
no.
Take back that approval.
Nick, does this company rent solar sites? Is that what they do?
Clean footprint?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did
Oh.
a site for them up in Lynch,
Next time I will.
and basically, that one I believe
Not
they
to
were
mention.
operating.
Yep.
I have a couple of clients, like, GE Solar usually does the development and then does it for the owner,
Okay.
and then they kind of walk away from it after that.
Yeah. So it's GE Solar that does?
No, this is clean, this is a company called Clean Footprint.
Okay.
I got a site that I was looking to get some stuff done on it.
Yeah, me too.
You should close the hearing before you, I mean, close
Yeah,
the
yeah,
adjourn before you.
yeah.
Yeah.
I would,
Just asking a question.
I did use this.
yeah.
Yeah, there was something
The
going
fellow who oversees the GE Solar's projects, even though all their project managers are out of Connecticut in New York, but I work directly with him, his name's Matt Benisco. And, I'm sure you could contact him through GE Solar. Okay.
All right.
Ask them, they are looking at the sites, I know.
Maybe they'll
Keep on pulling that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
If
heck?
I give you a call tomorrow, can I get some numbers off you?
Well, he's got the card right there.
Yeah,
I
we've got
got
your
your
card.
card here.
Also, also my email is on, if you just want to email me and I'll email
Okay.
you back to you.
Okay, very good.
Got it.
Okay, the only other thing that I see on here is we have one set of meeting minutes that's been handed out, June 27th.
I didn't see it before, and I apologize for that, but I figured it was short enough that maybe you could just look over.
Okay. Why don't we give this a quick look? I already kind of glanced through
I
it.
already looked at it.
Yeah, looks fine to me.
Yeah,
That was a quick meeting.
Yeah,
no
it
problem.
was a quick meeting. All right,
Comments?
I would entertain a
I'll make a
motion.
motion to accept.
Second.
All right, motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved. And I guess, is there any other old business or new business that we need to deal with at all? I think
I'll make a motion for you.
you will?
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Aye,
Aye.
Again, thank you very much.
thank you much.
Thank you.